Well, thank you, Ken. I'd like to, Mr. Jamal Tisby, who is y'all don't hold against him, he's a Notre Dame graduate. He is a teacher, been a teacher a number of years for a long time at the Kipp School in Helena, and he has one of his students with him. Mr. Tisby, if you would tell him about the Kipp School, you have some material you wanted to look at, and be able to answer a few questions that you might have. If you could get to the podium too, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. My name, as Mr. Johnson said, is Jamar Tisby. I come down to the Delta on a transplant from the Chicago area. And yes, the weather is much nicer here, believe it or not. And when I got the call to come today to share this time with you, I said, well, I'm confused. Exactly what would I have to say to a group of distinguished men and women so interested in public policy and governance? And I think the answer was fairly straightforward, is that we're all public servants. And we're here to serve our constituents. And today is a day of singular importance because we talk about some of our most important constituents, our children. I came to the Delta through the Teach for America program, and I was placed in Helena at a school called KIPP, Delta College Preparatory School. KIPP stands for the Knowledge is Power program. Teach for America requires only 2 years that the teachers stay, and then you can move on. But I chose to stay an additional 2 years, and I spent 4 years as a 6th grade science and social studies teacher at this school. I left briefly to attend graduate school for a year, and then I returned as the school director, and I'm currently in my 2nd year in that role. If you don't know much about KIPP, I'll just give you a brief history, because the history so far is short, relative terms. In 1994 began with 2 Teach for America alumni, Mike Feinberg and Dave Levin, who basically said, hey, what would it be like if we had an entire school founded on the principles and teaching methods that we have found most effective? And thus KIPP was born. We started with 1 class of 5th graders, taught their hearts out, and at the end of the year, the results came back, and guess what? It blew people's minds. Since that first school in Houston came about, KIPP has expanded nationally to over 80 schools across the country, of which we are a part. KIPP Delta came to Helena in 2002 under the leadership of Scott Shirey, our founder, and now the executive director. And he started with 1 class of 5th graders and literally went door to door to say, hey, we're starting a new school, would you like to come? Since that fateful year in 2002, we've grown from 1 class of 5th graders to serving over 500 students in grades 5 through 12, and this year we just started our elementary school for children in K and 1st grade, and they'll expand up to 4th grade in the next few years. We brought today with us a student who I'll let you hear just briefly, and before I get to that, I just want to talk very succinctly about what makes KIPP different and KIPP in the Delta different. A lot of people are asking, well, how do charter schools operate and what do they do that's different? I think it's summed up in the 5 pillars that KIPP is founded upon. These are just 5 basic principles that all KIPP schools around the nation share and that we've found to be successful in a lot of different contexts. First is power to lead. The ability to make decisions and to give the power to make those decisions to the people closest to the students is critical. We are still a public school and we're still accountable in many of the same ways that public schools are, especially when it comes to results, but the ability to buy textbooks when needed, the ability to hire additional teachers, the ability to shift funding in your budget to make sure that you can address specific needs of the students is critical. Another big part of our program is more time. It's no secret. If you want to get better at something, you have to spend more time doing it. If we want our kids to be smarter, they have to spend more time in school. So traditionally, KIPP schools spend about 60% more time than traditional public schools in class. Most KIPP schools operate on a 7:30 to 5 o'clock schedule. We have a Saturday school program that's mandatory for all students every other weekend, and we have a mandatory summer school program for 3 weeks in the summer. So through all that more time, then we are able to offer classes instead of cramming reading, which is so critical, into 45 or 50 minutes. We can get 75 or even 90 minutes if we need to, and that allows us to learn more. Another part of our program, the third pillar, is high expectations. One thing that all the adults in the building share at a KIPP school is just phenomenally high expectations for what our kids can do. And like Mr. Espy said, we don't ever want to limit our children in what they can do. We want to break those boundaries and see what's possible. Choice and commitment is a huge part of the charter school movement, and KIPP schools especially. We are a by-choice school. No one has to come to our school. They choose us because they're searching for something, and when they come to us, they're also making a commitment to our program. Teachers as well are making a commitment. We all have a school-issued cell phone that every teacher gets, so students can call us anytime, day or night, with a question about homework, what do I wear for dress up day tomorrow, what time is the basketball game. I've gotten calls at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night from students who just want to chat and need someone to talk to, and that's a big part of establishing trust with our students that helps them achieve at higher levels. And lastly is of concern to us all, the focus on results. We operate a little bit differently. We have distinctives about our school, but at the end of the day, we're accountable to the student outcomes. If students aren't learning more, then whatever we're doing is not worthwhile. We've got to make sure that students are learning more. We have had some phenomenal results thus far. This past year, 89% of students scored proficient or higher on the algebra end of course exam. In geometry, 97% of students scored proficient or higher on the end of course exam. That ranked second in the entire state of Arkansas. In 11th grade literacy, 91% of students scored proficient or higher on the end of course exam. That's third in the state. And we also had the highest performing student in geometry. Jessica Amos had the highest score in the entire state, and she attends our high school. This year we have our first class of 12th graders who are finally fulfilling the dream and applying to colleges, and they're getting acceptance letters back. So far we've gotten acceptances for our students from University of Central Arkansas, University of Arkansas, Arkansas State, the U.S. Naval Academy. 2 of our students have been accepted there with bull rides, the University of Memphis, Lyon College, and Xavier University. And that's just at the beginning of the cycle. We've got a few people. I'm trying to convince Joseph to apply to Notre Dame and see what comes of that. So what we're doing in the Knowledge is Power program is singular. What we're doing in the Delta is singular. Very few rural KIPP charter school models, and I think the focus on results speaks for itself, but even more powerfully, the students speak. So Joseph, if you would just tell us about yourself very briefly and show the actions you use in the gospel.
We've just got a few minutes left, so just thank you for your time. We wanted a little more time than we should have had, but go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joseph Whitfield. I am currently enrolled in KIPP Delta Collegiate. I entered KIPP at 5th grade, not a part of the original class. I'm actually part of the 2nd class. And KIPP has pretty much changed my course on my way to education. First, enrolling in KIPP pretty much itself was like a major adjustment. Time schedule, after school hours was actually something that I didn't really expect. I never actually saw myself spending time after class, spending time after school, just master something that I thought might have even been minute during the school hours. The teachers are really there to help in this. The main focus of KIPP pretty much is post-education. They want you to go to college. They want you to be successful. And they really stress that. Over the time I've been at KIPP, I've been accepted to a couple of summer programs, leadership programs that lasted a couple of weeks. And pretty much they instill in you they instill in you that you have to be proactive in your education. You can't sit back and wait. You can't sit back and let somebody do the work for you.